My old therapist reached out after losing her license. She said, "You owe me. Your healing made my career." I stared at the message, remembering how her notes almost got me committed. I saw Dr. Chen for 3 years. Started at 19 after my first panic attack sent me to the ER. She was in her late 30s, warm smile, office that smelled like lavender. $180 a session, twice a week. She'd nod, take notes, tell me I was making such incredible progress. At first, therapy felt like a relief. Someone actually listening to me talk about my anxiety, my difficult childhood, my fear of failure. She'd lean forward during sessions, her pen moving across that yellow legal pad, and say things like, "You're so brave for sharing this," and "We're really getting somewhere." But around month 6, things started feeling off. She'd bring up things I didn't remember saying. She'd reference conversations we never had. When I'd correct her, she'd smile and say, "Memory is tricky when we're processing trauma. Trust the process." I trusted her. That was the problem. By year 2, I was seeing her 3 times a week. She said I was going through a critical breakthrough period and needed intensive support. I was working as a restaurant manager, barely making rent, but I'd put those sessions on credit cards because she convinced me my mental health was worth the investment. She'd say, "What's the cost of not healing? Can you really put a price on your well-being?" I racked up $15,000 in therapy debt. My anxiety somehow got worse. I'd have panic attacks before sessions, terrified of disappointing her, of not making enough progress to justify the money I was spending. Then came the incident that changed everything. I showed up to a session after working a double shift. I'd been at the restaurant for 16 hours, we were short-staffed, and I was completely exhausted. I sat down in her office and said, "I'm so tired I could just disappear for a week." Dr. Chen's face changed. Her pen started moving faster. She asked if I meant disappear permanently. I laughed and said no, I meant like a vacation. Sleep for a week straight. She kept pushing. "But you said disappear. What did you mean by that? Are you having thoughts of harming yourself?" I told her no, I was just tired. She said she needed to ask these questions, that it was her professional duty. I left that session feeling weird, but I didn't think much of it. 2 days later, police showed up at my apartment. They had a court order. Dr. Chen had filed an emergency psychiatric hold, claiming I was an imminent danger to myself. They took me to a facility, and I spent 72 hours there while doctors evaluated me. I kept telling them it was a misunderstanding, that I'd never said I wanted to hurt myself. The facility doctor looked confused reading Dr. Chen's notes. She'd written that I'd expressed persistent suicidal ideation and detailed plans to end my life, complete fabrications. But the hold had already been filed. I had to stay the full 72 hours. I lost my job. No call, no show for 3 shifts. My boss wouldn't listen to my explanation. My roommate, thinking I just vanished, packed up my stuff and put it in storage, costing me $200 I didn't have. When I got out, I was furious. I requested my full therapy records, and what I found made my blood run cold. Page after page of sessions I remembered completely differently. She'd written that I'd talked about self-harm when I'd talked about a paper cut, that I'd expressed rage toward my family when I'd said I was frustrated with my mom, that I'd described dissociative episodes when I'd said I zoned out during boring meetings. She'd been building a case file of someone who didn't exist. I reported her to the licensing board, submitted my records, submitted recordings I'd started making of sessions after things felt off. Within a month, 3 other former patients came forward with identical stories. She'd done this to all of us, fabricating crises to justify more sessions, more billing, more proof of her therapeutic brilliance. Her license was suspended, then revoked. And now, 6 months later, she had the audacity to message me asking for help with her appeal. I replied, "You didn't give me tools. You gave me trauma. I healed despite you, not because of you. My testimony stands." She called me ungrateful, said I'd never understand the complexities of mental health treatment. I blocked her number.